Child's Play is a 1988 horror movie directed by Tom Holland, and it stars Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon and Alex Vincent. So welcome to my Child's Play movie reviews, guys. This is the first in all the Child's Play movies that I'm going to be covering in the lead up to the 2019 remake. And first we'll obviously start with Child's Play from 1988. This movie is about a boy who gets a good guy doll that's possessed by the dead killer Charles Lee Ray. Unfortunately for Charles Lee Ray, in order for him to turn human again, he has to then try and get his body into the first person he reveals himself to, and that just happens to be Andy Barclay. Now unfortunately for me, when I first watched this movie as a kid, I forgot how I felt when I first seen the movie. I remember being scared of the film, and in fact I think I remembered Child's Play 2 more than I did the original Child's Play when I was growing up, because of the style of Child's Play 2, which I'll get into in my next review. But yeah, I didn't remember much about the original Child's Play until I watched it again as a teenager, and then obviously I watched it again the other day there for this review. Now it's been a few years since I last watched Child's Play, so it was good to revisit it for this movie review. And I had to pause it a one bit because I remember when I was watching the film, we're about 40 minutes into the film, and Chucky still hadn't really changed expressions in his face. He hadn't revealed himself to a lot of people apart from Andy, because he whispered to Andy for half the movie. And then on the 43rd minute, this gave me the creeps, even watching it as an adult, when Andy's mum shook the box and the batteries fell to the floor. You get a kind of sense of dread, thinking he's been active all this time and he had no batteries in him. For her to see that for the first time, she must have got a fright, because Andy was obviously talking to her about Chucky being able to do things, and actually she saw Chucky speaking as the good guy doll, thinking it's just the doll. But when she sees the batteries drop, her face drops. And then straight after that scene, we see Chucky's face going to this evil looking face. That's something, even when you watch the future movies, that's something that cannot be replicated. Seeing him do that for the very first time on screen, again, it's priceless and it just can't be done again. Another great thing that they've done with this film was it was mostly all animatronics. Yes, they used a stunt double for some of the scenes with Chucky, and you can tell which scenes are which, but they've done really good use with the animatronics. Even when you look at the behind the scenes images, the amount of people that were involved in getting Chucky to move was amazing, and I wish that stuff that they've done today, I'm hoping that they do it for the remake, but when you see in the later movies, they tend to use some CGI, especially for the last two movies, and the CGI just doesn't cut it with Chucky, because the first movie was so iconic. In order to get the look and feel of the original Chucky, you have to go the animatronic route. I remember watching through this movie, and the one-liners that Chucky came up with, they still felt relevant to 2019. I think these quick one-liners in his foul mouth was really funny. Not intentionally funny, because obviously that's the kind of character he was in the film, but when he was saying these sort of things to the mum and Andy, you kind of had to laugh but be scared for them at the same time. I'm actually surprised that the actor Alex Vincent wasn't scarred for life after filming Child's Play 1 and 2, because some of the scenes that he was involved in, it would scar me for a life. It was so scary for a child to see, even though Alex Vincent knew it was fake. Maybe watching it back, if he was allowed to watch it back, that would have scarred me, especially because I would have been involved in the film. I know that sometimes when you make a movie with children in it, you film the scenes with the kids separately from the violent acts that are happening on screen and all the swearing and stuff, and then they kind of merge them together to make it look as if the kids and the adults were in the same scene. But there's a lot of scenes in this film where you can tell that Alex Vincent was filming at the same time as the doll, as the mum, as the police officer, so he was in amongst it back in 1988. It probably isn't allowed now, but back in 1988 there was no rules. I don't really rate Alex Vincent as an actor, but I think we can let him away with it because he was so young in Child's Play. Some of his acting was a bit stale, but so was Macaulay Culkin's in the first Home Alone, so we can kind of forgive him for that. But there was one scene near the end of the film that I really liked Alex Vincent, and then when Chucky was in the fire and he was saying something like, "But we're friends to the end," and Andy lit that match and he says, "This is the end, friend." I thought that was great. I don't think I had any complaints with this film. I think because I know it's a classic and you watch it again, any of the flaws you can just let fly by you. There was only one scene that I recall having a bit of an issue, and again it's just a tiny thing, and that was when one of the police officers come in after Chucky's been blown to bits, and he talks to Chris Sarandon's character and he said, "What happened?" And he says something like he scattered out all over the hall. But Chris Sarandon's character was in a different room at the time Chucky was getting blown to bits, so he wouldn't have seen that happen. But again, that's one little tiny thing, and that's probably just a small writing issue. After over 30 years since Child's Play first came out, watching it again today, I don't think it's lost any of its value. I don't think it has dated badly at all. When you're looking at the acting in the film, the acting is still relevant. The words, the patter that comes out of Chucky's mouth is still very relevant today, and it still gets a lot of laughs out of the audience when you watch it today. I think the only dated thing about it is maybe the script. The script is very 1980s. Overall, guys, I still think that Child's Play is one of the strongest horror movies of the 1980s, and I still think that Chucky is relevant in 2019. Do I think that a remake was necessary to come out in 2019? Not really. But I also would like to see a fresh retake on the character, because we are on 6 or 7 movies now and we're going to a TV show with the original character, which is still good that he's going for so long. But I think that with the way the story has diluted over the years, I think it's in need of a fresh remake. So that's my review for Child's Play, guys. The remake is due out on June the 21st. So I'm going to try and get a review for the Child's Play movies at least once a week in the lead up to the remake. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you soon, bye bye.